Welcome to Retirement Ramblings. I'm Scott, and today is day 43 on my countdown to retirement. So, I continue today to work to rebalance my portfolio in advance of year end to get myself into the right positioning mix for my retirement. And so, yesterday, I was able, through a good till cancel order that I had set back a while ago, to buy the S&P 500 ETF, in this case VOO, on the pullback that happened yesterday. And I was also able to trim some of my Alphabet this morning when some news broke and Alphabet popped. And so it shot up and it executed my standing order. And so I was able to get out of that. And then with NVIDIA beating all the numbers this evening, and looking at the after hours action that happened across a variety of different stocks, my expectation is that in the morning, the whole AI complex will be up. And so effectively the things that I trimmed will grow back as the numbers, increase. Because again, I was trying to trim them to keep the ownership percentage at a certain level within my portfolio. Anyway, and then we're planning. So my niece asked me if my wife and I would be willing to come and drive down to St. Augustine, Florida, to go meet her and my mom and my sister to go to the Nights of Lights in St. Augustine, which is like the third largest, I'm going to call it a festival, but third largest event that happens in the Southeast at this time of the year. So we said we would do that. So we're going to go there this weekend and meet up with them. So in advance of that, and again, I'm doing carnivore. So, I just explained that that's what I'm doing. And so if they want to go out to eat or whatever, I basically said, I don't do sushi and I need to be able to go somewhere where I can get cooked protein that's not in seed oil. That's my only requirement. If I can do that, it doesn't matter to me what restaurant it is, I'll make it work. But then, given that I'm not going to see them for the actual holiday of Thanksgiving, I decided that I'd make a ham. So I made a honey glazed ham, spiral cut, today, and then I trimmed it off the bone, packaged it in 2 different containers, and I'll be taking those containers with me in a cooler. And one of the nights that we're there with them, we'll do a mock Thanksgiving dinner with that and a variety of vegetables and stuff for them. But at least, my mom at least can feel like she had the whole family together for Thanksgiving, because, like I said, we won't be there on the actual day. So took care of that. Then I started shopping for a laptop for my wife. So I had told her that I wanted to upgrade both of our computer systems before I retire. So our systems are like 4 or 5 years old at least, maybe even more than that. And both of us have desktops. And then she also happens to have an Apple iPad as a tablet. So anyway, she told me that on her next one, she'd rather have a laptop instead of a desktop. So I've been looking around for laptops. And so I decided today that I wanted to see what the AI assistants could do to help me out. So I proposed the following question to Grok, Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Google Gemini. And the question was, if I want to buy a Windows 11 laptop for a 70-year-old female who will primarily use it to play Facebook games such as Bingo Blitz and Township, to use Microsoft Office 365 for spreadsheets and Word documents and Outlook email, and she wants it to be quick and responsive, have a large touchscreen plus a webcam, what laptop would you recommend? And so then Grok came back and said, and gave me all the underlying reasons for the recommendation, but it said I'd recommend an HP Envy X360 16-inch 2025 model, and the Lenovo Yoga 7 2-in-1 16-inch 2025 as a strong runner-up. And then Gemini came back and said, I'd recommend the HP 15.6-inch full HD touchscreen laptop with an AMD Ryzen 5 processor, 8 gig of memory, and 512 gig SSD hard drive. And then Perplexity came back and said, I'd recommend an HP 17.3-inch 1080p full HD laptop, and it gave me a specific model number, 17-BY2053CL, with an i5 processor, a UHD screen, 1 terabyte hard drive, and 12 gigs of RAM. And then ChatGPT came back and said, I'd recommend the Lenovo IdeaPad 5 16-inch 2-in-1 or the Lenovo Yogi 7i 16-inch convertible. So I went out and looked at all of the different recommendations, and after comparing everything, I sent my wife a link to an HP OmniBook X Flip 2-in-1 Copilot plus PC 16-inch 2K touchscreen laptop with an Intel Core Ultra 7 processor, 16 gigs of memory, 1 terabyte of SSD hard drive in Eclipse Gray, which happens to be a newer model of the HP Envy X360 16, which, along with the Lenovo Yoga 7, both have been discontinued. So, in fact, most of the models that that the chatbots or AI agents recommended aren't actually available for sale anymore. They're and I guess that's because they were trained, right, on content that is slightly older. So even if you're using the latest model, the training could have been 6 months ago or a year ago. So the latest models aren't necessarily out there. So, but at least it's a good starting point. And so all the features that it recommended are included in the model that I'm going to have my wife take a look at. So, I mean, she looked at it on the screen and whatever, but I know better than to order something that she doesn't actually put her hands on. So, after my meetings end tomorrow afternoon, I will probably drive her out to a Best Buy and let her actually put her hands on the keyboard and see whether she likes the tactile feel of it, whether the touchscreen's as responsive as she wants. Because the thing that I know is she really wants something that, like, she has no patience for computers. And so, like, when she pushes a button, she expects it to be, like, instantaneous. And so I want to make sure that whatever she's doing absolutely is being responsive to her, or I know it'll be money that's just thrown down the drain. So, and given it's going to be something before I retire, I don't have it budgeted to be replacing it within the first 5 years of my retirement. So whatever she gets, she's going to have to live with for 5 years, right? So that's that. And then really that's everything that I worked on today. So therefore, it's my update for today. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below or drop me an email at myretirementramblings@gmail.com. Otherwise, I hope you have a great evening, and until tomorrow, take care.